actually maybe do this particular piece. We could go back to this part, as I said before, and build out on this area. It just creates some other issues for us. So looking at all of that, part of what we came up with then is there a better solution? And this is the solution that currently we've arrived at. First of all, we'd like to say nothing's perfect. No matter what we do in the building program, there's going to be some problems associated with it. But will it work? And does it meet that original criteria? Is it safer? Does it meet our instructional program? So this is the plan that the school board is considering right now. It is not a done plan. We're asking you for feedback. We're also going to ask the community for feedback. And I'm meeting with teachers after we get back from fall break to talk to them. Does this work? So right now what we do is build a new school at Fairview. So as we're always going to do, we bought the land, build a new school out there. Then what we would do is once we built the new school out there, is to move Lincoln Elementary School to that new school. So now we've got half of Lincoln Elementary School vacant, or we got half of that complex vacant. Lincoln Elementary School now has moved out to that new site. Now we've not decided yet, is that new school, is it going to be a K through 2 and a 3 through 5 to kind of mimic what we have at Alpha and Manly and some of the other places, or would it be a standalone? But right now, move Lincoln Elementary School out there. Now, the important part to this, too, to remember, is that we're crossing that line now, which for some people is a big deal. But when you get out of this school, so when you get out of elementary school, you'd go back to the middle school that you are currently attendance area in. So the kids, if they were going to Lincoln Elementary School, they'd still go to Lincoln Middle School. So we don't change the middle school or the high school for folks. We're just moving Lincoln over to this land that we've got. Okay, so everybody with me to this point? Now, what we like about this is then in number 3, we can use the old Lincoln Elementary School as a staging area. We don't have to buy mobile units now to put the middle schools in as we reconstruct. So we got to talk to our A&E firms and determine whether or not it's better to leave the middle school where they are and then convert the elementary school to the new middle school, or move the middle school over to the elementary school and then remodel the middle school. But whatever the case would be, is we got a place to put them without buying mobile units that we're paying for that we don't have any lifetime benefits out of. Okay, so everybody with me there? That we'd move Lincoln Elementary School to the new school. That would open up half of a school for us then to utilize for a staging area. We would then move, we would renovate Lincoln Middle School. When we got through with Lincoln Middle School, we'd put them in a new section. So now we got part of that building still open. We'd move Meadowview over there, then go ahead and renovate Meadowview, then move them back to Meadowview, and then renovate John Hay. We don't really think we'd have to have a lot of mobile units for that. But that allows us to eliminate that $1 million of relocation fee for each one of these projects. So it saves us some money. Now, at the end of all that, so years down the line, we still got Lincoln Elementary School. What do you do with it? Going back to the piece that we had, maximizing facility use, that might be a great place to have a regional preschool center. So instead of having the preschools in each one of the schools, we could have a more centralized preschool. We also have what we call CDC classrooms. That's for special ed kids. And a lot of those kids are medically fragile and they take a ton of support systems. Maybe to have a regional CDC center for some of these medically fragile or some of these kids with high needs. Now, there's a lot of our kids who do extremely well without going out in the mainstream. So we're not talking about taking those kids out of the mainstream. But for some of those kids who are really high needs, maybe a good place for that. Or is the alternative school. We've got several mobile units at the alternative school. Would it be better to put alternative school into this and then close that mill and void there. You know, we don't, that's a piece that we can determine as we go forward. To make a decision that far out, we're probably talking 10 years down the road and kind of think what our student demographics would be in 10 years. That'd be hard to do, but we'd have a facility available that whatever needs we have, we could utilize it for that. Now, the other part that we would do is number 8. We would rezone to maximize facility use. So we still got mobile units at Hillcrest. Still got mobile units at Fairview. We're going to rezone and build a school big enough so that we can get rid of the mobile units and then not have to worry about that. So we'd rezone a couple of the kids to make sure that we filled up the facilities that we had. Okay? Does everybody, any questions about that? All right, now, we talked about this already, rationale for the plan. We think it saves money in the long run. It provides us a staging area. We really don't have the disruptions that we had in any of those other options because we've got a whole half of the school to put people in. It eliminates some of those safety concerns. And then we actually get a building that's actually built to code and current safety features, and it will decrease the construction schedule. Issues with this plan? If we build the new Lincoln Elementary School on the Fairview site, you know what that road's like. And you know that there's some traffic issues associated with that. The one thing, though, that we do want to say with this, it's probably no worse than what we got right now. You know, that it's a situation where, well, actually I need to go this way. Right now, the thing that we would have with having all this land, we've got a decent road here, even though that intersection's not a good one. We understand that. These roads here are not really well suited right now for a lot of commercial traffic. But we do have enough area that what we do is build what we call queuing systems, is we build roads off the main artery to get parents and community members off the main road as quickly as possible. Once we get them onto our campus, we have a huge loop or something of that nature to get them into parking lots for drop-offs, but we get them off the road. So it could be a situation here that we build a road and we come all the way around, so we get them off the main road and get them onto our campus so then the rest of the traffic can go. So traffic is certainly a problem that we have with that. The other part that we would have an issue with, of course, is distance. That there is an increased distance for the Lincoln Elementary folks. But now I came from a county where our schools were further apart than what this whole county is from end to end. You know, we've got a fairly compacted county, and we're kind of in a unique situation here. But a lot of our schools are not that far apart from most school districts already. But the size of the school, these would be some of the biggest schools that we've got. There'll be about 500, a little over 500 Fairview, a little over 500 in the new school. But it does enable us to operate more efficiently. Now, I was an elementary principal of 650 kids. I knew every kid's name. I knew the family, and as we go through, you know, we create that school family. 500 would be a big school for us, but it's not really big in a lot of places. And if some of you were out and raised in other places, 500 is not necessarily a big school. But it does enable us to maximize and have some operational savings. And then it does cross that attendance line that seems to be a big issue here. But the kids would go back to their attendance area to begin, where they were, you know, where they're going to middle school. All right. This is the summary of the options that I'm going to give you right now. Option number 1, that was new school at Fairview and leave Lincoln Elementary on its current site. So that's the one we've been talking about forever. Okay, and I want to make sure that we take some time on this. On this first option, that was the first option that I explained to you. Mr. Chair, do we need to have a stand-up break or anything? Because I know I've been talking a long time. I think we're fine. Okay, are we good? Yes, sir. So on this first option then, we still renovate on site. With West High, we have the cafeterias. Then we put mobile units on Lincoln and just build Lincoln there. We put mobile units on Lincoln Middle, do middle there. We renovate for middle school at Meadowview, renovate John Hay, and then we build a new school at Fairview and rezone to bring Hillcrest out there, plus build enough to get the mobile units done at Fairview. That was that first option we've been talking about for a long time. Is everybody good with that? The second option is actually we're going to build a new school at Lincoln Elementary School up on the football field. Then everything else kind of stays the same as we talked about, but the big difference is instead of building right there and adding classrooms on, we just build on the football field. But then what we do is we build on the football field, then we can still use the elementary school for a staging area, so that does save us some money. And then the third option is the one I just explained to you. Build a new school at Fairview, then move Lincoln Elementary School to Fairview. Let me stop here for just a minute because this is so clear in my mind because I've been working on it for several weeks. But I know when you first see it, it's a lot to it. So questions with any one of these options, or you need clarifying questions. Now might be a good time to talk about this piece right here because we're going to go into money next, and I want to make sure you understand these options.
Have you given any consideration of purchasing new land in the Lincoln zone for a new Lincoln Elementary School?
We have. And we've driven around and we actually pulled it up on Google Earth and looked at a lot of places. And to find the kind of area that we want with folks that we think would sell the land. Now, I don't know folks here well enough, but we've got some folks that have lived here a long time. We really don't see that option any place. Plus, I was a little bit concerned, and some members of the school were a little bit concerned. We'd already purchased land, so why would you abandon that land and buy new land? So those were the options, but we did look. I didn't see a great piece of land, but maybe you guys know, and that's part of the reason here.
People seem to be territorial. We recognized that when you had the meeting with the WIC parents and the Lincoln Elementary parents. Have you discussed with the Lincoln parents that you want to move them all the way out to Fairview?
No, sir. What we did is we just shared this with the board on Tuesday. And I've had meetings every night this week, so I've not been able to hold a community forum. But what we will do when we get back from fall break, we will hold a meeting and we will talk. Now, I think part of the issue is that there's a very similar student demographics with Lincoln Elementary and Fairview. There's a much different student demographic with WIT and Lincoln. We don't anticipate the same kind of opposition. Could be. But what we do see is that a lot of the teachers at Lincoln, they want new facilities so desperately that they don't think that 4 miles down the road is that big of a deal. Now, I got to talk to them to verify that, and if I go there and they're totally against it and the community's totally against it, I firmly believe I work for the community. I work for this county, and that those people have to have a voice, not a final voice, but I think we got to have a voice in this. So it would be great if we had land that was close in that attendance area, but it wouldn't solve my problem at Fairview because I'd still have to take some kids out of Fairview to get rid of those mobile units. This way, it kind of takes care of all of our problems with one building. And again, that's why I wanted to kind of talk with you guys about this, because we're going to take some heat from the very thing that you talked about, but that's the most financially responsible thing. And we just don't really, now I may be wrong, but I don't know if that student demographic piece is as great as the other.
500 students more. How many automobiles and teachers and everything is that?
How many cars do you think would drop off roughly at Lincoln?
From the car riders?
Yeah.
Gosh, I would say if we went that extra distance.
Well, how many right now? Do you have a rough number?
I would say we probably run 100 cars through there.
Okay.
Maybe 25 might drop off, maybe.
So say we had 120 cars, you know, that would be plus
The
what.
worst part I see for you is that's the road and
Yeah.
the traffic right there at that red light, you know, for doing that. There's no back way in and out of that.
Are they zoned the same, Lincoln and the elementary in the middle?
I say that.
Zoning, is it the same?
No, Fairview and Lincoln are in two separate, so they go to two different
Lincoln
middle schools.
Elementary and Lincoln Middle.
But you're wanting to use this facility even to move Middle in there, Meadowview, and you're gonna move to different schools besides this Lincoln.
No, okay, let me stop and make sure that everybody understands this. Lincoln Elementary School would move to the Fairview side.
Right.
So all those students at Lincoln Elementary would move out there.
Right.
We're gonna carve a little bit of Hillcrest out so that we can get rid of those mobile units. So a few kids from Hillcrest would probably come that direction,
To the Fairview side.
to the Fairview side. But then everybody else stays where they are.
Right, once you complete your project at Lincoln, you bring them back. Is that correct?
No. Now, in this particular option, and I'm glad you asked that question because some people were confused about that. What we're advocating is just stay there. Because if you stay there, then you can still use all of that area as a staging area. Plus, we've got the efficiency associated with that. Because if we take Lincoln out, then you've got to renovate that Lincoln Elementary School at $6 to $8 million. And you've got to put some extra classrooms on there because you use part of Lincoln Elementary School as the middle school because you know that you have to take and create some of those
My
classes.
concern is just the traffic.
Yeah, that's our number one concern.
Yeah, well, it should be. I mean,
But-
sure.
But now the thing that we would respond to that just a little bit is the traffic at Lincoln, there on Lincoln right now, is that perfect? Now normally what we see is traffic is bad for 15 minutes. 15,
Right,
20
that's
minutes.
because you've got multiple arteries, and it goes one way, go east, it goes west, it hits more streets. You're talking about going down a path that you've only got one road in, and no back entries, no back roads, nothing.
We don't disagree with that, and that's why we said at first, to find a perfect solution, there's not one. Traffic will be an issue, but now what we have found is a lot of folks will adjust their traffic patterns according to ours. You know, that they will go to work a little later, a little earlier, or they'll take a different route if they possibly can to get there. So I don't disagree with you, and we've said right up front, traffic is our number one concern. Yes, sir.
The city and county road people then,
No, sir.
in any of the meetings with you?
No, sir, that is definitely one of the pieces that we'd have to talk to them about and have some conversation with them, because if we made some improvements in that area, you know, then it would certainly help. But no, we've not had those conversations yet. Because keep in mind now, this is 3 days old, and we're talking to you guys, and then we'll talk to the community, and we'll involve the other folks.
How many billions of dollars are we talking about right now?
Pardon me?
How many billions of dollars and over what period?
We're going to cut the next slide.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
That's
what I
right.
thought.
Yeah, I understand.
John Kerry, back to my question.
Yeah.
Lincoln Middle School,
Yes, sir.
Lincoln Elementary School, how many people do you say are delivered in the same automobile? One to the, let's just say, one to Lincoln, one to the middle school.
I would think that it wouldn't be any more, if you're gonna deliver an elementary school kid, you're probably dropping off a middle school kid, so I would say 100 at the elementary school and just
I'm talking
isolated
about-
middle school.
I have two kids. I have a fourth grader, which goes to elementary, is that correct?
Yeah,
And I have a sixth grader, which
Yeah.
goes to middle. And I take them to school at Lincoln Elementary, Lincoln Avenue. If I take one to here and leave one there, then my commute is increased 30
Yes.
minutes each way.
it's the same thing, it's the same thing that you would have with every other middle school that's not combined with the elementary school.
I understand that, but I'm saying you're creating this, that's something that's happened in the past, you can't help that. That's my biggest concern with it. and the fact that when the Fairview project was first discussed last year, maybe 2 years ago, never was any Lincoln ever mentioned it.
Correct.
It was making, what size building are you looking at building on Fairview?
This would hold about 500, 600 kids. We're 600 kids. We built it for 600 or so.
And you got how many in Lincoln?
What is your current population? Well, we've actually got that on the last slide here. So that's, you've got all of the, right now Lincoln has, well, as of, that day, we've got 503.
So you're building it for that school only, so.
No, we're sitting about 600.
Okay, how many would be coming out of the portables?
We would talk about, with that particular part, we would, it could be as much as 100 kids.
From Fairview?
Yeah. No, from Hillcrest. And then from Fairview, we'd have to do some work there too to make sure that.
You work on what?
Pardon?
You work on what?
We have to do a little bit of work on Fairview to make sure whatever configuration we have. Because right now, what we don't know.
Well, hang on a second. If you're saying under this either option, 1, 2, or 3, it gets rid of the portables,
Yes.
how would you get rid of the ones at Fairview? You're taking all of Lincoln and all of the overflow, let's say, at Hillcrest there.
We would build the school to make sure that the school was big enough to take all these kids. And we might have to do a little bit of work on Fairview also, depending on the configuration. So for example, if we did a K through 2, if that was more than what the kids could hold right now, we'd have to look at building a classroom. But you're very mobile.
Because you're going to redesign the whole concept. One building will take care of, let's say, the primary students, and the other building that's currently there will take care of the intermediate?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If that's what.
Both schools?
Yeah. That we would plan this as we got through it to make sure that that campus then held all the kids at Fairview, at Lincoln, and then the overflow that we would have at Hillcrest. Now guys, we'll tell you right up front, if we had unlimited money, this would not be the option we'd be looking at. We'd do exactly about what one of you mentioned about, I believe it was you. We'd love to buy some more property, build out in the Lincoln area, keep those kids right there in that community, and then build on the Fairview too. But when we do that, that's going to dramatically increase the cost. And when we do that, that has an impact on the operational budget, and then that has an impact on our teachers.
What are you going to do with the, you're going to lose classroom space at Lincoln Middle School. Where are you going to put the students that can't go back in that space?
Okay, that's the beauty of this part, is that when we vacate Lincoln Elementary School, half that building's going to be open. So where we need that space, we're going to appropriate a certain part of Lincoln Elementary School. And again, guys, I think this is like playing chess. It's real easy to make that first move. But if you don't think about the second and third move, there's some problems. And what Lincoln Elementary does by being vacated gives us that option, that we can then expand into the elementary school and not have to build additional classrooms outside. Any more questions about this part? All right, let's go to the money part. Now, with this, let me make it real clear before anybody starts looking at the numbers. We feel this is a staged approach. This is not, we're not coming here today to ask for this amount of money tomorrow. What we anticipate you would have asked is that, okay, when we're done with all this, what's it going to cost at the end to do everything? And we're giving you that price. But we understand this is not all going to be at one time. That this will be, and that's part of why I put on some of that construction schedule and the other ones to be determined. What's your financial status like? How much money can we borrow? How much money are we comfortable with debt service? All those pieces. So that's something we got to work out. But here's kind of the price. Now, if we do option one, if we do West High School, and I'm throwing in the highest numbers, doesn't mean that that's the number we're gonna stick with, but that's the highest number. So 12 million on West, 6 million on Lincoln, 6 million on the middle school, 5 million for Meadowview, 5 million for John Hay, 18 million for Fairview Elementary, so 52 million. Now, that is not this year's money, it's not next year's money, this could be a 10-year period of time, whatever it is. That would be determined by sitting down and talking with the county about financial pieces. What is financially responsible? If we did the option 2 on the football field, it comes down to 44 million, because basically what you're doing away with is doing away with one of those renovation pieces, because you don't have to renovate one of the schools now, you put them in the new school. And whether, if you put it on the campus of the current campus of Lincoln, or if you build on the Fairview property, then that's a situation where you're taking care with one of those renovation projects and you lower the number down to somewhere around 44 million. So, when I looked at this, at the end of it, this causes some problem. Traffic, biggest issue, and I know one of the major concerns that staff and administration has at Lincoln is they're really struggling to get family involvement. Will this extra 4 miles hurt that? To a certain degree, yes, because that's some of our poorest families and transportation would be an issue. Are those concerns worth $8 million? You know, that we don't really know that. But one of the things I wanted to share with you guys is this is kind of what we're looking at. So I wanted you also to know that we didn't just come up with the most expensive project. We spent months of trying to do something to get it lowered down as much as we possibly can to come to. So even though it's more money than probably what you wanted to begin with, you know, at least we wanted you to know that we were thinking from a business point of view of trying to get this down, not to the thing that was the most palatable to us as educators, but financially in the total package. Now, I'll come back to that. I just want to show you the rest of the packet, and then we'll go back. I just gave you the dates that and this, just a quick rundown of the schools. This is the dates that they were built. Now, you guys know that you've done additions to each one of these schools. I didn't put the additions, because some of them had 4 or 5 additions. So, but we've got schools being built 1970. Now, actually, if you go out to Pottsville, though, that 1917 school, pretty good looking school. Actually, you know, that's a good looking school. So you can do renovation, it can work. But you can see the age of the schools. This one's how many students we had on about the 10th day of school. That's changed a little bit up, down, but you can kind of see what the students are. These are the acreage that we have with each one of these. If it was a combined school, like we got Alpha Primary and Intermediate, what I did is I just put a slash on it, like 11 at the primary and 11 at the intermediate, so that you could just kind of see that. And then the square footage that we would have with the same thing, I split them out, primary and intermediate. And then the number of teachers and the number of mobile units that we have. So that just gives you something to look at if you have questions about that. Same thing with the secondary schools. These are our middle schools and our high schools, the years that they were built and the square footage and all those kind of things. So now, Mr. Chair, I really do apologize because that took a lot longer than what I anticipated.
Well, you did exceed your 5 minutes.
I did. But I wanted to make sure that this is probably one of the most important decisions, this along with the jail, is going to be some of the most important decisions that you made. And I want to make sure that you have facts to make a good decision. So, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, questions now that I can answer?
This land that y'all bought
Yes, sir.
out of Fairview,
Yes, sir.
is that why it went over what it was appraised for?
Well, actually, it was appraised for that amount in the highest use. So now, there could be a question about, is that appraised at the right amount? And I think a lot of us have been involved in that. But the appraisal actually did come back at a amount equal to what we paid for.
The county appraised, 2010 is appraised at 248,000. Then recession hit, it was reappraised in 2015 for 158,600. And y'all give 375,000.
Yes, sir, we did.
I've got the-
Yes, I agree with that. That's matter of record. But now, the appraisal, the last appraisal we got on it, I believe it was at 375.
Evidently, when this was purchased, they wasn't taking this in about the traffic control at Fairview, was it? And North Cumberland?
I think that when we first bought that land, the whole situation is just simply to put the addition to Fairview and put Fairview out there. And so we weren't talking about really increasing traffic out there at all. It was just the current traffic that they have and splitting that. The only reason I bring this to you is that it would save us money on some other areas. So, and guys, I will not argue with you, did we overpay or did we underpay? You know, I'll take abuse for that and I'll take that, but, you know, that's kind of done now. And we do have some sewage there. We've got some infrastructure there that costs us money, that if we didn't have it there, and so I wouldn't argue with you, sir, that maybe we did pay top dollar for that. But that's a situation now that we're kind of beyond that, and I can't do much about that now. So, but I understand what you said.
Dr. Gary,
Yes, sir.
on the traffic situation.
Yeah.
It seems to me like it's been brought up before, it will be a problem on North Cumberland,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
also on Fairview. And I contend that, we could also work with the city. There's traffic control that they can change during the times, you know, to help alleviate traffic and move it along. There are options available that can maybe help.
Guys, I've built 4 different schools. Every school that we built, the primary concern in each school was traffic.
Have you ever fixed it? You never will.
And now,
You better,
never will.
but you never will. I mean, up at East Ridge, or even over at West, putting that bus route behind it was great, but you still got a huge problem, because more and more people pick up the kids. I wait over there 40 minutes.
You know, and that's the issue, is that most of the time, if parents would just put kids on buses, we could solve a lot of our transportation issues, but they're not going to. And more folks now, we're seeing more people bringing kids in every day. So you're right, we'll never solve all transportation issues until folks kind of reevaluate how they want to bring kids to school. In most of our roads, and I know that you all deal with this too,